Good evening, everyone. It is our trades back here with another video. It is Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. We are going to outline and recap the futures markets for Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. We're going to have a review of the markets, guys. If you like this content, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and use the affiliate links in the description box below. It has come to my attention that there have been some issues with Apex Trader funding, guys. I have plenty of affiliate links that are not Apex, so if you do not want to use Apex Trader funding, that is no big sweat to me. You want to support the channel, just use another prop firm that is linked in the description box below. Okay, guys, with that being said, let's have a look at the Bloomberg article here, the close newsletter, guys. Ships come in, the Bloomberg Close America's edition. Good afternoon. Here's what you need to know to end your day. Apple plans for a 10% jump in iPhone demand. Pelosi deals a blow to Biden's re-election campaign. And Drake loses a $300,000 bet at the Copa America semifinals. So I guess your rapper artist Drake put down $300K on a bet that did not pan out. And here I was thinking I was a big gambler. Guess I got nothing on Drake. Apple announced ambitious plans to increase iPhone sales, counting on AI services to fuel demand after a bumpy 2023. Here we have an image here from Bloomberg of an iPhone on a container ship. The iPhone maker will ship at least 90 million iPhone 16 devices in the second half, targeting about 10% growth in shipments compared with the model's predecessors. Guys, stocks hit a historic high with the S&P 500 closing above 5,600. That's again closing above 5,600 as mega caps rallied on the news. Next item reads, competition remains with Samsung launching a smart ring and releasing a new high-end wearable with similar features as the Apple Watch. What else is happening, guys? Nancy Pelosi declined to support Joe Biden's intention to seek re-election, saying instead that it remains his decision. So more and more folks jumping off the Joe Biden train, it would appear. President Biden's own party would appear to be jumping that ship. Top officials from his re-election campaign are set to meet with Senate party members on Thursday. NATO allies see his chances of a second term fading. U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez filed articles of impeachment against Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito for what she said was their failure to report gifts and refusal to refuse cases from which they were conflicted. In other news, distressed investors are turning their attention to troubled real estate assets in the United States, with about 64% of property investment targeted there. Layoffs, Intuit is laying off about 1,800 workers in a shift to focus on AI. CNN will cut about 100 jobs as part of a plan to merge its news teams. Costco is boosting annual fees, including an increase to $130 from $120 for its executive membership. Bill Huang was found guilty of criminal charges stemming from Archegos 2021 collapse. Here's an interesting news item. A Whataburger app helped Houston residents navigate blackouts in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. Since CenterPoint Energy's website didn't have a power restoration tracker, customers relied on the Burger app to see which of its restaurants were closed during business hours, presumably during a lack of electricity. Okay, guys, and then let's head over to Financial Juice. Okay, guys, some of our interesting headlines here. Looks like Japan core machinery came in worse than expected. Fed's Cook U.S. data consistent with a soft landing. Lisa Cook from the Fed talks about inflation and monetary policy. Okay, guys, so just some interesting items that I wanted to mention there. Let's head over to TradingView now and look at some of our items from our market news today, guys. Okay, guys, let's head over to our index headlines. News headlines, top global market news of the day, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. What's behind Powell's latest shift on rates? Achieving lower inflation without a significant slowdown is, quote, the number one thing keeping the Fed share up at night. S&P 500 clinches longest streak of record since 2021. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's remarks seem to encourage investors a day before the Consumer Price Index for June offers the next big look at inflation. The Fed said it needs more low inflation signs to cut interest rates. The CPI might deliver one. The Federal Reserve isn't going to cut U.S. interest rates until it gets a few more low inflation readings. It's likely to get another one on Thursday. Okay, guys, Biden prods Mexico to better police evasion of tariffs. German car makers report sales drop and diverging EV fortunes. Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volkswagen all posted declines in overall vehicle sales and saw demand drop in China in the second quarter. Okay, Bank of England, England's pill sees rate cut on the horizon but highlights inflation worries. The Bank of England is likely to lower its key rate at some time in the future, but recent data indicates that inflation might remain high for longer than anticipated, Chief Economist Hugh Pill said. Okay, guys, look at some of our other top headlines. Australia shares set to rise after U.S. gains. New Zealand stocks trade lower. Tokyo's Nikkei opens up 1.22% higher. I'm not sure about that. S&P 500 and NASDAQ close at record highs ahead of U.S. CPI report. Some latest news headlines I'm just seeing come here across the wire on Financial Juice. Joe Biden hails best of allies in first talks with the UK's Keir Starmer. U.S. stock futures edge lower with CPI data set to offer more in rate cuts, guys. Okay, let's head over to the charts. I want to show you what we're seeing in the charts now. All right, guys, we are here on the NASDAQ. Here in our Asian session trading, guys, we are 2 hours into overnight trading, so we are in the Asian session. As y'all can see, here in New York local time, the NASDAQ made a new all-time high. So we're just going to mark that as buy-side liquidity. So, guys, buy-side liquidity here at 20,916.75. We are off that a little bit. We're currently trading 35 points lower, 20,881.75. And then we're going to mark sell-side liquidity here, 20,703. Looking at our hourly chart, we have a buy-side imbalance, sell-side inefficiency here from an ICT perspective. So just going to mark that out, guys. And this is what I'm seeing on the NASDAQ. I also wanted to show you guys, I am trading an Apex Trader Funding 300K account. I know there's been some complaints about Apex recently. I'm not here to argue about that. I'm just trading a simulated account and having fun doing it, making YouTube videos. So, you know, hopefully Apex is all right. But if I need to move to another prop account, guys, I need to move to another prop account. That's not a big deal. Okay, guys, so with that being said, I did end up with a total profit. Guys, I'm at 308,739, so I'm a little bit shy of halfway there, halfway to passing the account. Greatest gainer here in the overnight session, guys, we see crude oil is rising to that buy-side liquidity located at 82.66. Silver futures are up 0.29% here in overnight trading. Guys, I think this is something pretty easy to see, but silver futures forming a nice triangle here. I'm just marking that out on silver futures. So for what that is worth, guys, there's on silver futures. Guys, we reached a new all-time high here on the NASDAQ. Looking at our regular trading hour session from a 15-minute chart, what we can see here is that we opened up with a regular trading hours gap. So, guys, this down here was a regular trading hours gap. We traded exactly to the 15% point of 50% of that. So here's our regular trading hours gap on the NASDAQ. Just looking at our regular trading hours, guys. So what have I done here? I've gone to the bottom right of the screen and I've ticked it from electronic trading hours to regular trading hours. That opens up at 0930 New York local time, closes at 1600 New York local time. Regular trading hours gap shows the difference from where the market closed in the prior trading day and where it reopened when the New York stock market opens. We initially formed a buy-side target here, initial high at 1000 New York local time. We dipped down exactly to the 50% point of the regular trading hours gap. And then we pretty much rallied Taking our initial move, guys, and putting out the standard deviation projections, we traded to about the 1.5 standard deviations, but just above the 1 standard deviation of the move that we made in the morning. The market did show a little bit of sign of weakness as we came into the close, but basically the market was off to the races after 1100 or 11 a.m. New York local time. So traded up, initially rejected off that 1 standard deviation, formed a fair value gap, which broke higher. So that's on the NASDAQ, guys, from an ICT perspective, which is kind of how I like to look at the market. I don't like to talk about, anymore whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I think it's a fine way to look at the market. Okay, guys, some other items I want to hit. Let's look at our daily charts for some of our metals. Let's have a look at gold, guys. Gold was up yesterday. We traded and closed at about the halfway point of Monday's trading. Currently working in a trading range here on gold. Gold not really inspiring a ton of confidence in terms of like long-term swing plays. So again, looking like we're just trading within a confined range here on gold. We closed at 2377.9. Now let's have a look at silver. Silver is our other metal here, very similar to gold. Just going to remove the drawings. Our average true range on the daily chart of silver has come down to 0.844, so volatility has been going down here on silver. We've had a move above prior buy-side liquidity, so the market traded above that 31.230, and it's having a difficult time remaining above that prior high. If I had to take a wild guess, guys, I'm thinking that silver will come back probably to that 30.31. So I'm thinking silver is likely in for a down day here for the remainder of the week. I'm expecting some down days to come in just from what I'm seeing on silver. All right, guys, let's briefly talk about some of our ags. Let's talk about copper first. Copper traded marginally higher on Wednesday's trading, coming into Thursday's trading. We did reach this ICT rejection block here. So you can see the ICT rejection block there at 4.687. Market came up and rejected that, started trading lower. We do have an ICT fair value gap located lower here. So I'm here sitting on the daily chart. But overall, guys, copper, again, notice that as we're in these summer months, volatility has gone down. So volatility currently sitting at about 10.5 cents per day, guys. So copper's daily volatility is going down. Let's have a look at the dollar index on the daily perspective. Coming down here in the overnight session, 0.1%. On Tuesday's trading, our close, we closed at 104.805. Looking like, guys, we're basically in a downtrend. We have a lower high, maybe a lower low here, depending on what this action wants to do there. So I'm thinking that the dollar is probably headed for, I would say, the 50% point of this wick here. So probably 104.035. From what I am seeing in the dollar, guys, and looking at the weekly chart, I'm thinking that we're likely going to see some downward movement in the dollar index. So I'd be looking for some of our Forex pairs to gain against the dollar. I'm thinking from a technical perspective that we're likely looking at that. Another interesting point, guys, is looking at our average true range on the dollar index coming down to 0.42. That's 42.5 cents, guys. That's a pretty low number. Pretty low number on the volatility. So the dollar remarkably stable and not volatile at the moment. Okay, and then finally, guys, let's look at some of our other items. Let's look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones trading above that high that we formed on Monday, the 24th of June. Coming a little bit off now here in overnight trading. The Dow has been in a trading range for some time now. So trading between about what's that? 39,291, trading up to 40,069, guys. We've been stuck in this sort of tight range on the Dow for some time. Also notice that ICT fair value gap there. Notice that ICT fair value gap that we reached basically perfectly up to it, and the market has reacted off of that. I'm thinking that the Dow is likely going to come back down and continue. I would bet on that trading range continuing. So I don't think the Dow is going to trend strongly higher. I think we're going to continue to be in a range. And again, another thing to notice with the Dow on a daily chart is that volatility has been coming down. So only 362 points on average per day. Okay, guys, we've looked at gold. Let's have a look at the ES, or the S&P 500 futures. S&P 500 futures on a daily perspective, making a new all-time high here on Wednesday. That marks a grand total of 5 days in a row. 8 days in a row. 8 days in a row of straight up price action. So the market, a lot of people saying that we might be in a bubble, guys. The market just going a little bit crazy. Okay. Moving up, we traded, taking this range here of this trading range, we traded over 1 standard deviation higher. Didn't quite make it to that 1.5 standard deviations higher. Guys, I'm thinking more likely than not, depending on what the CPI reads tomorrow, I'm thinking that we're probably going to have our first black day tomorrow. Not really moving here in Asian or overnight trading yet, but looking at this daily chart, everything's looking a little bit extended to me. I'm also just remarking on this low volatility across all of our instruments, guys. The market has been in a pretty low volatility environment, only moving 43 points on average now. So that's a pretty small average. After a contraction in volatility, we would expect an expansion. Okay, guys, let's have a look at our yen futures now. Yen futures trading, again, very, very low volatility. Notice that, our average true range coming down. From a daily chart perspective, guys, we made a new low yesterday. Briefly ran on that sell side liquidity. Guys, I'm actually thinking this is going to be a long. We're going to take a trade on these yen futures and take a long. I'm thinking that the dollar, what I'm seeing, guys, just to show you back-to-back charts, dollar index is on the right. They're both on a daily perspective. I'm thinking that the dollar index is likely going to continue to come down while the yen futures have been severely beaten up. So I'm thinking the yen futures might be a pretty good long here. After dipping below that prior low that we made on Wednesday, the 3rd of July, I'm thinking this thing might get ready to have a rally. So I'm probably going to take a gamble here on a long. Okay, guys, so what are the key themes that I'm seeing? Overall, guys, I'm thinking that there's going to be some signs of weakness here. I'm seeing weakness in the dollar. Basically, I'm seeing a trading range here on gold. Gold doesn't inspire a lot of strength. I think that crude oil futures are looking at least to get up to that 83 even, so I'm expecting a continued rally to the upside in crude oil. What am I expecting across the indexes? Well, guys, it really depends on the consumer price index or the numbers that come out tomorrow, but I'm thinking that the NASDAQ and the ES, I'm thinking that Thursday's trading, we're probably going to see a downward day, guys. There's got to be some amount of balance to these markets, and so I'm thinking we're going to see some two-way action here soon. So I would just be nervous holding on to longs in the stock indices. So I'm thinking dollar weakness. I'm thinking indexes are likely to turn around and either start moving south or moving in a trading range. In terms of our metals, I'm not super interested. And then, guys, just low volatility across the board. Not seeing a lot of volatility in any of these instruments. One thing that I did want to talk about though is soybean futures. I thought were pretty interesting. Soybean futures reaching a level that has not been seen since the start of 2022. I just thought that was pretty interesting here on soybean futures, continuing to trade lower. So, guys, basic trend analysis here on soybean futures, we're seeing an accelerated trend down in the soybean futures with a new low coming up at 1,028.2. I would be looking for potentially a long on soybean futures at 1,026.6. So below that prior low there from the 18th of January 2022, I'm thinking that might be a decent place to enter into a long. So again, soybean futures getting pretty beaten up. Oh, another item, guys, the Nikkei. Nikkei has been moving higher quite a bit. Looking here at the weekly chart of the Nikkei, let's show you a standard deviation projection of our large move there. So almost getting to that half standard deviation higher of our prior leg lower. We're working on that third straight week higher. We ran on our prior all-time highs on the Nikkei at 41,045, now sitting about 2,000 points higher than that. From a daily chart perspective, I'm thinking that the Nikkei might want to make a move back lower. Let's add in our buy-side liquidity there. So plenty of I think downside exposure here potentially on the Nikkei. All right, guys, we are long 10 yen futures. That's going to be the position that you get to see on stream. To recap, guys, I'm expecting dollar weakness. I'm expecting there to be some pullback in the stock indices. Not really interested in trading the metals right now, although I think that gold looks like it might want to come down and run on all this sell side liquidity. I think that's interesting as well. Soybean futures pretty beat up, and I'm thinking that the yen might finally get to rally. Okay, guys, that has been your news and market analysis for the futures on Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. If you like this content and want to support this channel, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Guys, even if you dislike the video, please make sure to click the dislike button, as any engagement really helps out the channel. Please do make sure to hit that like button, guys. It really helps. But the dislike also helps. Hey, thank you. Bye-bye.